Hi everyone, it's Mr. Hunt here. Here we are with our second lesson. Just to quickly recap, we're making a maze game. It's really cheap, it's really cost effective. It's designed for small kids to get them off their screens and doing something with their hands. The hand-eye coordination, really important. Your fine motor skills, being able to do things, coordinating your eyes and your hands together, so important. Last lesson we looked at a kind of initial ideas, a brief specification. I got you to think about the tools and equipment you were going to use. Why do we use a steel rule? What is a hacksaw? What's a coping saw? What does it look like? Hopefully you found that out. And then I got you also to think about some other ideas on the internet. What else is out there? What can I look at to help me? What's a good idea, etc. Now today we're going to move on a little bit more and look at the actual drawing. Now we're going to be doing the actual drawing on a computer. The reason for that is it's very simple to do. It's much easier to draw on the computer a straight grid of lines than it is with a pencil and a ruler. It's much more accurate. Now the laser cutter we're going to use is accurate to about 1/100 of a millimeter. It's incredibly accurate. So when you're finished your design, you can laser cut it, and that's going to give you the perfect template for then adding the walls. Okay. Now here we have a simple grid. It's exactly the same size as it would be in real life, 15 centimeters square. You're going to have walls around the edge, and then inside you can have smaller walls, basically from start to finish. So the first thing you need to do is start thinking, where does the ball start and where does it finish? Do I naturally go from one corner to the other? Do I go all the way round from, the kind of left to right? What's my idea? What's my main idea? Do I need to get the ball to the center? Do I have more than one ball? Do I have 3 balls? So I have to get 3 balls from the 3 different corners into another corner. Up to you, it's your idea. Anyway, I provided you with a simple grid, and I would give you a big piece of advice here: stick to the grid. Stick to the grid. Now the main problem is, if you don't stick to the grid, what tends to happen is your walls get too close together, and if they do, it means the ball can't roll down them, just causes a big problem. So stick to the grid. However, keep your walls very small. Now if you have long straight walls that go on from one end of the maze to the other, it becomes too easy, too simple, and the ball just rolls along its merry way without any resistance at all. You've got to make it difficult for that ball to get to the other side. You want to be making dead ends, so the ball drops into a dead end and then it rolls out into another dead end and then it drops into the same one. Making it as interesting as possible. So my view is, just don't press on too hard. Use a pencil, a soft pencil. Don't press on too hard, and evaluate as you go through. Is this working? Almost trace the path of the ball with your finger as you're working through the maze to make sure it's the best it can be. So, a piece of advice from me: stick to the grid. Don't go off the grid. Now you can have 45 degrees if you want to, but that's going to make it much more difficult for you later on. Your choice, yeah, it's up to you. So you want to stick to the grid as best as possible and avoiding long straight lines. Let's keep the lines nice and neat, nice and tight, have a clear start and a clear end, and hopefully once we've done that, we can come back into still and start making it. Okay, any problems, get to me on Teams. I can show you some examples of what other people have done. In the PowerPoint, there's some examples that I did briefly talk about in the lesson. Have a look at those. But this is pretty good. It's a pretty good activity, but please take your time. Don't just draw a few lines and say that's it, because you're going to end up with the most boring game in the planet, okay? So take your time, do a good job. Thank you.